Hi, I'm Liz from Thibodeau Media Group.
And I'm Torrey with Rigo Productions. And sometimes it's hip to be square. No, I wanted to totally jump in. No, go ahead. Let's redo it.
No.
No.
And it's Two Producer Tuesday. So last week we talked about length of video, 6 seconds, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, and one shorter is better. Today we want to talk about the shape of your video. We get a lot of, honestly, true confession time, I get a lot of requests from clients. I know that we can produce in 16:9, that landscape aspect ratio that is HD. Vertical, when people are holding their phones this way and all of that, and square for Instagram. And I do know that each shape, belongs in a certain place, but is there like a preference?
Well, I think we've recently found some good information.
Yeah.
And I think that as producers, we cannot just shoot for TV ads anymore. Now, that's something we've talked about before. Our digital content pillar helps us get a lot of variety of content. But that's still, we have to be mindful of, what format do you need this in at the end of the day?
Well, the latest statistic as of 2 minutes ago when we Googled it was that 95% of all videos are viewed on a mobile device. So
it's a lot.
And we're not just saying, that statistic doesn't mean it's the only place it's viewed, but perhaps the first place it's viewed, or you share it with your friends or whatever. So, I'm accustomed to turning the phone this way and letting it fill in, but then there's also, you're on Instagram and it is square. So how do producers work around that?
I think just being very mindful of what the end game is. If we had someone come to us and said, we just need an Instagram video, we're going to shoot that with the mind that it's going to be square. We probably should not go wrong with that, but we tested it out on Facebook. And on Facebook, did we get 2 different tests, or was it LinkedIn that was 2 different tests?
LinkedIn had 2. On Facebook, well, the statistic that drove us to this was that a square video, so a 1-to-1 aspect ratio, perfectly square, as you would see on Instagram, on Facebook actually covers 78% more of the screen than a vertical one.
A lot more property. So is your
vertical, not horizontal,
correct.
So vertical.
So as you're scrolling and you're going through that, when you're on Facebook, it in the past, if it was a horizontal video, it's going to load horizontally and it's going to stay like that.
But be smaller.
It'd be smaller. It'd be smaller. Now, when I saw it today and there was a square video or square photo that was posted, Facebook didn't squish it and make it smaller. It actually filled up more space. So for me, as someone, I've said it before, is thumb stopping. As you're going through, you actually have so much more space to have seen something, and we're just trying to catch your attention.
Well, and imagine, like back to last week's episode about, your call to action and branding right up front. If it's your logo and then, whatever text is on the screen, again, because these will play with no sound until you hit them, it should be very clear, and you should use all the real estate that's available. For what it is you're pitching.
Yeah. So now, as producers, what we're again mindful of it. I think that's the biggest thing, is being mindful of what the end game could be. Of course, now a lot of the cameras that we are using are 4K, and without getting too technical with it, it just means there's a lot of information in there. If I was to film something where maybe I would have zoomed up on it in the past, I actually don't need to zoom up on it. I can zoom in editing and still get a crisp, clear picture of that. So now there's 8K. Now you can get even wider, and the benefit to an editor or to the studio like this is that if someone come back and says, hey, that vertical ad that you did for me, I need it in square format now. I can probably go back to the original footage that I've got, and there's enough latitude for me to find where that square is. And when we were doing airline ratings this last week, we had that situation where we needed to find where that square was.
But as when you're directing and shooting, the action, you're looking through the viewfinder of the camera, and that's 16:9. We're looking at all of that when we shoot it. You have to keep the action centered because and then you have to be really mindful of what might fall outside of that square if it's vital to whatever the scene is. It may not show if this turns into a square video. So all of that actually, just more for the producer and director to think about.
To really think about it.
But we did it last week for airline ratings and planned it out. And we'll tack some on to the end of this to show you the very same videos, how you edited them differently for Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn.
Yeah, and it all worked. But because we thought about it,
Yeah.
we were thinking in advance.
Yeah.
So what size works best for you? What aspect ratio? It just depends on where you're going to post the most. And make sure you tell us where you're doing that.
It's hip to be square.
See you next time.
Bye.
I did my stupid hand wave again.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey Thomas. If you have any fear of flying, no matter how small, then our app is just for you. Hi, I'm Jeffrey Thomas. If you have any fear of flying, no matter how small, then our app is just for you. Hi, I'm Jeffrey Thomas. If you have any fear of flying, no matter how small, then our app is just for you.